Hello, Kiss Army. Welcome to episode 62 of the Kiss Army Things podcast. My name is Xander.
My name is Daphne.
Thank you, everybody, for joining us on another exciting episode talking all things Kiss. So today we're going to be taking a trip back to 1973. But before we do that, we're in 2023. And Daphne, I think we have with us some special guests.
We do,
Do you want to introduce who we have joining us today?
Yes, so today we have our nephews. This is David, and this is Landon. Say hi, guys.
Hi.
And they wanted to join us today because they've been kind of getting into Kiss as well, and I think they might have some spotlights to share with us here in a minute.
Absolutely, yeah. So usually at the beginning of every episode we talk about what song or what movie or what album we've been listening to. And so our nephews wanted to join us because they have something to share. So who wants to start? Who wants to go first?
You want to? Yeah.
Okay, cool. So
All
what's your
right,
spotlight, Landon?
My favorite thing of Kiss is Kiss Scooby-Doo.
Kiss Scooby-Doo
Oh,
movie?
great choice.
Nice. When'd you watch it?
Last night.
Last night?
You've seen it before, though, right? Yeah, I was going to say,
Many times.
I thought you guys watched it a lot, so that's a really good one. I love that movie. We've seen it a couple times, too, but it's been a minute. I feel like we might need to rewatch it
has
this
been a
Halloween
minute.
season, maybe.
So what'd you like about it?
That, there's a witch. And, there's so many girls I can't even think who the bad guy was.
Yeah.
It was the head officer.
Yeah, spoilers if you haven't seen it.
Well, what's funny is that all those girls, all their names were Kiss references.
Did you know that?
Strutter, Domino. Yeah, they're all Kiss songs. So they're all meant to be. That's kind of cool.
Yeah.
The writers went pretty all.
Who's your favorite character in the movie?
Favorite Kiss member, if you had to choose one.
The cat guy.
Catman.
Catman.
Yeah.
Makes
Good
sense.
choice.
Makes
Good
sense.
choice. All right, David, what's your spotlight?
My favorite song is "Lick It Up."
That's a great song for sure.
What do you like about it?
The lyrics.
It's pretty funny.
It's pretty good. It makes me think of ice cream or something.
I will say that "Lick It Up" is one of my top 5 favorite Kiss songs.
It is a great song.
It's pretty good. So, did you guys listen to Kiss on the way here?
Yeah.
Yeah, we did.
What song did you listen to?
We listened to "Lick It Up" and another song, but I don't remember the name of it.
For sure.
Gotcha.
That's pretty cool. Well, I'm glad you guys are listening to Kiss and getting into Kiss. I think we have the Kiss Army's 2 newest recruits here.
Yes, we do.
So thank you guys so much for joining us. And before you go, I wanted to make sure that you guys left with something. So you want to reach in there and grab one of those.
Ooh, rock tags for everybody.
And then you want to reach in and grab one too. And then I'll tell you what, we'll give one to Brycey as well.
Yes.
So you guys can take these and then open them up. And I think you may already have one, so now you have 2. But yeah, I wanted to make sure you guys walked away with something. So thank you guys so much for joining us. Always listen to Kiss. Keep rocking on. And then maybe in the future we'll have you guys back on. You guys can do another Kiss Spotlight. Yeah. Talk about your other favorite Kiss song. Or,
Absolutely.
something
You gotta
else
be
you guys been
studying
watching.
up so that you have something new next time, okay?
That's right. Cool. Awesome. Thank you guys so much for joining us. All right, that was so awesome to have our nephews on. That was really cool. They've been wanting to come on the show for a while.
A long time.
We wanted to make sure we had them on so that they could share with us their Kiss Spotlight. And as a matter of fact, this whole episode is going to be nothing but Kiss Spotlights.
That's right.
Usually, we could sit here and talk about news and updates and different things going on, but I thought, you know what, why not just sit back and talk about the music that we all know and love. And I wanted to actually, for me personally, go back to 1973 because if you guys saw the last video I did a huge unboxing. Glenn from Tales of a Kiss Geek sent me a package from Ireland, and I got all kinds of stuff I was not expecting, including this CD from Kiss's performance live at the Daisy in June 73. And I've never actually heard this show before.
Really?
I had seen, there's a concert from 73, some footage on Kissology Volume, I think 3 maybe actually. Which was really cool, but this is even earlier than that. So this may be the earliest Kiss content I've ever heard.
That's awesome.
Ever.
Wow.
And before I go track by track and talk about this CD, I kind of wanted to just set the tone a little bit, talk about Kiss in 73, kind of where we're at, because this is as early as it gets. Right now, at this point, Kiss has only been playing clubs in New York. They started playing the Popcorn Club, Coventry Club, in January of 73. And this is June 16th, 73. This is their 14th concert ever.
Wow.
This is Kiss's, if I got my math correct or whatever, this is Kiss's 14th show, this Daisy show, which is pretty crazy.
This is early days.
Very, very early days Kiss.
Literally 50 years ago.
Yeah. exactly. Yeah,
It's 2023. That's so crazy.
73. This is 2023, and at this point, Kiss was having trouble booking gigs because for whatever reason, I mean, I think I can kind of guess why, but there was this idea around the time that club owners did not want bands who would do originals. Mm-hmm. They wanted artists to come in and just do covers, do that week's top 40 hits, you know, songs that everybody already knows.
Right.
So bands like Kiss, who are coming in with a new sound, a new image, and new songs, new material, it was like, no, we're not taking a risk on you. Get out, basically.
Right.
And so at this time, the only place that had given Kiss a chance was the Popcorn Club, which had been renamed Coventry. So, but there was this guy named Sid Benjamin, I think his name was, and he owned this place, the Daisy. And he's the one who gave Kiss a chance. I don't think they auditioned. It was just, yeah, sure, go ahead, play. So he gave Kiss a chance to play at their second venue. Mm-hmm. And so the Daisy became like Kiss's, like one of Kiss's local spots that they played.
Kind of like the Cavern in Hamburg for the Beatles.
For sure. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. In their club days, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So because there weren't very many places that were allowing bands to play original material, Kiss kind of had to take what they could get. And the Daisy was kind of that place. But it wasn't a nice place. Paul said it was no bigger than a living room.
Yeah.
You could maybe get 60 people, 70 people.
Wow.
It was not very well kept. It was very run down. But again, Kiss, it was, Gene said it was the kind of crowd where you would see a pregnant lady with a smoke in one hand and a drink in the other.
Yeah.
And it was a big biker crowd. So that was the crowds that Kiss was playing to. At this point, not even the makeup had been fully realized yet. Lydia Criss took an iconic photo of the band with Sid from the show, and you can see just how early this is
I don't think I've seen this photo.
You can see how early the makeup is. Gene's makeup is starting to become more of the demon.
It's getting there.
Paul is still in his New York Dolls face with no white.
Yeah, no
Even
white.
Ace has no white. And then you can see kind of Peter, I think, is the most realized at this point.
Right, but the whiskers are like small and like curved instead of big and straight and chunky.
Yeah, but
that's crazy that Paul is almost has no makeup. Like he has like nothing, but then just black around his eyes is pretty much it. Now Ace's, other than having no white, is about the same. I feel like the silver spaceman part is pretty much realized, but that's just so fascinating to see that phase. And I've seen, there's lots of different phases as well. With Paul as the bandit and all that stuff. So
yeah,
it's just cool to see like how many like kind of off looks they had before they finally got to what stuck.
And that's what I love about Kiss too, is because 50 years on, I mean, they know who they are. They figured themselves out. They have a legacy. It's all set in stone. But this is them figuring themselves out.
Yeah, as like kids, like
if you went and saw Kiss, in January at the Popcorn Club, and then you saw them at the Daisy in March, and then came back here in June, you would be seeing 3 different bands, at least as far as the look of the band.
Yeah.
Whereas you see Kiss in the last 4 years, it's been the same costumes.
Right.
Of course, the makeup is the same, but I love this era of Kiss because it's all coming together.
Yeah.
It's all very new, and it's all just kind of happening, and even the songs too, which is kind of what I wanted to get into, was the actual concert itself, which was thankfully recorded by, his name is Eddie Solon is the guy's name, and he ran Kiss's soundboards for the entirety of 73 up until December 31st was his last day, but he ran Kiss's soundboards for the entirety of 73, so thank you to Eddie, because he's the reason why we even have this recording to begin with. So I thought it'd be cool just to kind of talk about the actual songs and kind of where we're at in Kiss history, because it opens up with Nothin To Lose.
Okay.
Which we all know would be Kiss's first single on their first album. But the way the song is here, it's nowhere near what the song would become on the album. In fact, most of these songs are a lot different than what of course they are,
right?
Than what we actually know them. But there was an extra verse in Nothin To Lose.
Really? That's not on the studio track?
That was just dropped.
Interesting.
Back in 73, there was an extra verse, and I try to write down what a couple of lyrics were, but I told her she could use me, and she told me she would. Baby, please don't refuse. So it's just it's very similar to the rest of the lyrics, but to my ears, hearing Nothin To Lose, it was like, whoa, wait, what? This is totally new.
That's crazy.
That coupled with extended solo sessions and outros. I think Nothin To Lose ended up being about a 6-minute long song.
Wow, that's
as
fascinating.
opposed to maybe the 3
I was
and a
gonna
half.
say it's a pretty standard
normal
size.
song.
Yeah.
But a lot of the songs that Kiss was playing at this time were extended jams.
Right.
Because they didn't have enough material.
Yeah. And that's so
which is
interesting because I don't think of Kiss as a jam band at
No,
all.
at all, at all. And when you listen to this show, that's all they are.
Wow.
Is a jam band. Because, I mean, again, there's nothing really ever, anything substantial to Kiss's lyrics as far as, like, the meaning of life. It's not meant to be. It's meant to be, again, it's a biker crowd with, it's Kiss's crowd. So
right.
they're just playing loud, aggressive, in-your-face, rock and roll, wanting to get the crowd hyped up. And so, but it's still fun to see some of these songs, like Firehouse is the second song. And that had a different intro.
Wow.
Like a slightly different intro. Because there's like the part where the snare comes in, da, da, da. This just goes right into the main beat of the song. And then the part where it's woo-hoo, yeah. So they have that. But in addition to that, after that, the whole song stops. A cappella, they all go,
What?
It's random.
I need to hear that.
Random. And that is something I think that Richie Wise and Kenny Kerner probably in the studio when they were doing the first album said, why don't we cut that?
Cut that.
Why don't we, dial that back?
It's not working.
It's not worth putting that in the song.
That's so funny.
But it's just funny to kind of, again, see some of these different changes. And even there's a dramatic pause before the guitar solo. Everything stops. And then solo.
Ooh, I like that.
Which is cool.
I like that dramatic effect.
But that was not in the final song. Even the solo itself, the solo is different than the iconic song that we've all know and love from the album. So I'm just having a blast at this point, learning and noticing all these different things because we all know that when Kiss plays Firehouse, they have the siren, right?
Right.
Well, back in the day, they didn't have a siren. There was no budget for that. They didn't have that. So what they did was Peter Criss would just play the cowbell 100 miles an hour, and it would just kind of mimic like a siren down the street or whatever, just very loud,
hilarious.
aggressive. And it's like, I love all the stops that Kiss is pulling out just to try and, just be as over the top,
Just
do
add
the most.
production value without actually spending any extra money because they didn't have any.
Bingo.
Wow,
Bingo.
that's interesting.
And
I need to listen to this with you.
Yeah, you do. I mean, obviously the recording isn't the best. It's
I'm
not
sure.
meant to be. It's
73.
Very, very thin, very warbly. But just to hear this stuff is super cool. And even to know that Kiss was doing like a mailing list, even this early. There's a couple points in the show where Peter thanks Sid, the owner, for letting him, thanks to Sid for letting us come out and play. Hey, everybody, make sure to go in the back, write your name down, join our mailing list, and we'll send you some stuff.
Wow.
Gene, I think at some point Gene says the same thing. He says to write down your name, and then we'll give you some merch. And
Can you imagine? That's so cool.
It's so crazy because obviously this is before the modern day where everything is like, it's social media, everything is linked, and like one thing leads to this and directs away. But Kiss was trying to figure out a way to link up with the fans, and they were even going out of their way to create these like almost bogus press releases and send them to owners and clubs. The hottest band around Kiss, they're gonna blow the roof off. They were just doing everything they could just to make themselves look like they were the baddest and the best. Yeah. And just the level of commitment. Like, I know they were always doing this stuff, but just to hear them say, because you would never hear Kiss say in the microphone, hey, go to Kiss Online, subscribe.
Right,
but
because they don't need to.
No, they don't need to at all. But to hear some young guys just in a club having fun,
that's
just
so cool,
creating things, putting things together, like that's the cool thing about Kiss. Yeah. And even Kiss fans, we put together our podcast, and then Rick does the Kiss wax pack. What I mean? And
I love this.
You can think all the way back to Gene and Paul and Lydia Chris putting glitter on Kiss shirts and coming up with their own stuff. It's awesome. Yeah, it's so creative. It's so cool.
And it's crazy to think about how young they were at the beginning. Facts. Because like we were kind of talking about this last night, like as we age, we're in our mid-20s now. Or mid to late, you could argue. As we get older, we have reached and at this point surpassed the age they were when they started. You know what I mean? Which is so fascinating to me because now it seems like when you look at people that age now, as you get older, it's like those are kids. Yeah. It's wild.
If Paul were my age, he was a millionaire by the time he was my age.
That's crazy.
Which is crazy to think about. But at this point of the show, we're getting into the fun stuff because now we have the song "Life in the Woods."
Ooh, what?
Which you've never heard
No,
the
I
song
haven't.
"Life in the Woods."
No.
And this was one of the only tracks that I had ever actually heard from this already.
Okay.
Was "Life in the Woods." Now, "Life in the Woods" was a song that didn't make it even onto the first album.
Okay.
So
Obviously.
it obviously, yeah. But I mean, it may have been a Wicked Lester song that was, as of now, being played in the live Kiss set, but it ended up being dropped from the set list before they even did the first album. Of course, it never came back. But I like it. I mean, again, it's not like a fully realized song at all.
Yeah.
But at this point, it's almost like the way Paul was talking about it. It was like the crowd should know what this song is. Because they start it with like a hi-hat. Paul says, guess what song? It's called Life in the Woods. We want everybody to join us and have fun. Everybody get it out. You know, we're going to be not coming back here for a while. So get it out of your systems now. Let's dance. Let's party. Let's have a good time.
Huh.
So this is like one of those songs that like kind of like Rock and Roll Night where the
Right.
crowd gets involved. It's a call and response. So Paul and Gene are trading back lead vocals. You know, life in the woods would be easy. Make
I've
a
never
house
heard
of
this. This is so
flowers and
fascinating.
trees.
What?
Yeah, it's the most random song.
the lyrics.
Again, Kiss lyrics almost make no sense, but it's the music that is fun.
Yeah, well, and it's but those lyrics are like even different from
The usual Kiss lyrics.
Kiss lyrics that don't
Strutter,
make sense.
yeah.
Yeah, that's so
Yeah,
interesting.
Life in the Woods would be easy. Make a house of
I
flowers.
need to hear that
It's
too.
like, man, life as a bum would be pretty dope. It's
Yeah.
like what the song
Like,
says, basically.
I want to live in the forest.
Yeah.
I get that. I like that.
Little gremlin. I don't know, but I thought the
love it.
song was great. I mean, I could see why it didn't make it past, but musically, it's still very much classic early Kiss.
Yeah.
Again, it was the first song, or the only song, there's two, but one of the ones that I had heard from this that was like, this is awesome, this is fantastic. And I don't even think, other than the loft rehearsals, because there are some files out there of the Kiss playing in the loft. And they do this song, Life in the Woods. But this is, I think, the only live recording of it that exists. Mm-hmm. Because I never heard it ever again.
That's crazy.
It really is. And it's one that, during this performance at least, they had everybody get on stage with them. They said, let's invite our friends on stage. And I think that might have been their crew.
Okay.
And, like, some roadies or whatever.
Yeah.
But I think even the crowd, they were like, let's get everybody on stage.
Wow.
And you can hear some drunk guy, life in the woods would be easy. Like, he's just, like, singing it, like, like, you can tell
That's
he's
so
drunk.
funny.
But Paul's like, yeah, who cares, man? Like, everyone's on stage having a good time.
Wow, that's awesome.
And this is one of the only times you can hear the crowd because, again, these are very small crowds.
Yeah.
So even with the soundboard recording in a small club, you cannot hear the crowd
Right.
clapping.
It's not a massive
Woo!
crowd that
You
we're
hear-
used to.
Yeah, you hear a couple hoops and hollers, but that's about it until Life in the Woods, when everyone's on stage having a good time. But even though it is very much a small scale show, you can still hear the power that's coming through.
Yeah.
And the fun. Like Kiss concerts have always been an event.
Yeah.
It's an event and it's an experience, whether you're seeing them on some ginormous stage in a stadium or an arena or in the Daisy 73. It's like
Yeah.
they were always trying to just do the most, be the most, and be
Always.
the best. I love that.
Me
I
too.
love that. Because it's such delusion. Like, there's a level of delusion in it.
Mm-hmm.
I think they were actually also answering the phones at these clubs. When folks call, they would say, yeah, you need to come see Kiss. They're playing. They would say, hey, is so-and-so playing? Who cares about so-and-so? Kiss is playing tonight. And you ain't going to believe what they're going to bring.
Oh my
And then
gosh.
hang up. That's it. They would do that. They would
That
go
is
on
awesome.
They would go on the radio and just be like, man, Kiss, they're going to level the place. They're going to, like, blow it down and just...
It's all about confidence and
It's all
pretending
about-
that you've already made it when you haven't.
It's very rapper. Like,
Yeah.
like rappers are
True.
the only ones who have this level of delusion where
Yeah.
you just walk in,
I'm
the
the best.
baddest, I'm
Yeah.
the best,
I'm the goat.
I'm the go. Yeah, exactly. And Kiss were just coming out with that energy
Yeah.
from the
From the get-go.
right out of the get-go.
Yeah.
Which is great. And there's even a second song on here that they play next called Simple Type
Okay.
that even I had never heard.
I was gonna say,
Now
I've
again,
never
I
heard
know
either.
that plenty of Kiss fans have already heard this and seen this. I don't know everything about Kiss, and I don't pretend to. In fact, almost every day, or at least every episode, I'm learning something new.
Absolutely.
In this episode, I'm learning a whole lot. Because Simple Type was a song that maybe I had heard the name, but for whatever reason, just never actually had heard a version of it. And again, this could be the only version of it that's out there. But Simple Type was another song that Gene and Paul trade back and forth on lead
okay,
vocals.
I always love that.
Me too. And I wonder if that's been maybe the reason why I didn't make it, because on the first album you have Let Me Know, which has Gene and Paul trading back.
Right.
You have Kiss in Time, which has 3 of the guys singing lead. Black Diamond, you have Paul and Peter. So, I don't know. I guess they had to just figure out what the best of their material was and scrap the rest. And songs like Life in the Woods and Simple Type were the ones to go. But again, I got to hear a new Kiss song for the first time in forever.
That's crazy.
With Simple Type.
And one that's 50 years old.
One that's 50 years old, yeah, and never got an actual, recording. But this is what caught me. So Paul sings the opening line, and he says, "Well, walking down the street one day, celebrating Friday the 13th in May." And it's just like that flow, that style of lyrics he was coming in with. I was like,
cool.
wouldn't expect them to, put a song together like that.
Yeah.
And I liked it a lot.
Interesting.
And to me, I mean, I couldn't hear quite what they were saying, but to me, the song was almost about like some Simple Type wanting to fight, and then you're like, hey, why do you want to fight? The world's going to end. Why be negative when we can be happy?
Okay.
Why do you want to be like that? I'm trying to be happy and celebrate, live my life. And you get this negativity that you're bringing my way. I could be misreading that, but that's what I got from it. But either way, it was a fantastic song. I loved it.
That was awesome. You need to show me both of those songs at some point.
I will. And both of these songs had like extended, again, most of these songs were extended. They were drawn out, long solos. Ace was just killing it the whole time. You can tell that Ace musically was probably the most talented.
Yeah.
Because you have all these sections where it's just solos. Because Kiss hasn't, written a whole bunch of songs.
Right, they have to do that to make the show last.
Yeah, they don't have 2 hours worth of music yet,
right.
So they're just kind of extending everything to make it last a full show. But it's great to hear them just rock out and jam, because even though they're nowhere near as tight as they could be or should be, they're just having fun rocking out.
Yeah, and they have the energy.
And this song Simple Type had a part in it, kind of like Cold Gin, where it's the it was like that, where it was just like, whoa, where'd that come from? Because the song was pretty standard the whole time, and then it just kicks into this, middle solo section that you're just like, oh, that's tasty.
Oh, cool.
Like I wish that had made it to the first album, or that had been,
used in another song somewhere. Or something. Yeah,
because it was really, really good. And then Acrobat is the one that follows this up. I think you've heard of
I have
Acrobat.
Heard Acrobat, yes.
Because Acrobat is what was changed into Love Theme from Kiss for the first album. And this version, I think, is probably the version of Acrobat that everybody's most familiar with, because this actually was released officially on the Kiss box set in 2001.
I thought so. Okay.
From this show particularly. So Life in the Woods and Acrobat are the only two songs I've heard from this show prior to this. But anyway, what I like about Acrobat is the fact that its riff, it's kind of like, I'm not saying it's like Watchin You, but it hits that same spot that Watchin You does, which is it's very upbeat, very driving, very heavy. Again, metal music wasn't even a thing at this point. You're still 10 years off from Metallica, and so I like it when Kiss was putting some of this heat on these songs and these tracks. Again, Ace's riffs were just blistering. And I don't like that it became Love Theme from Kiss on the album, where it just became this like slow, not going to go anywhere instrumental piece.
Right.
Whereas this version starts out like that, and then it builds up, and then it builds into that big, heavy section.
Yeah, that's what Love Theme needs.
The lyrics are kind of not very good, but...
yeah, I remember.
But... still a really good song, and I think that musically, Acrobat to me is better than Love Theme from Kiss.
Yeah.
So personally, I would have liked to have seen kind of like Black Diamond, where it starts out slow and then builds. Keep Acrobat as this Love Theme from Kiss slow intro, and then just have it build and build until you have just Peter Criss going absolutely nuts. That would be
so cool, because I've always thought that Love Theme from Kiss has potential, because I really like the intro and I really like that groove at the beginning, but then it just stays that way for the rest of the song.
It's very boring.
It never changes.
You're thinking, okay, this is cool.
You're like, where are we going?
You're a cowbell.
Oh, nowhere? Okay.
Basically, yes.
So that would have been neat.
But Deuce, which is funny that Deuce is so low in the set. Deuce is track number 6, and this is usually their opener.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's usually at the beginning.
Always their opener at the time. And Paul even mentioned it. This is the one that we usually open with, but we're going to almost close with it. But Deuce, I think, was one of the songs that was very, very close to its final form. Okay. The version that we all know and love.
So it sounded the most like the one that you know?
There was still an extended section, or a solo at the end that was very extended. But as far as the intro, the main verse, and the chorus, it was like they would play it today.
Oh, wow. That's so cool.
Which is wild to think that it
crazy.
translated that well this whole time.
Yeah.
They're still playing it. It's
That's
great.
wild.
Ace has even said this is his favorite Kiss song.
Yeah.
And it was the first song he played with the band.
Oh, wow.
When he auditioned was, they said, let's play Deuce. It's this chord, just follow along. Ace said, I'm just going to throw every lick over top of it I know.
Yeah.
And so when you hear it, that's all it is. It's
Yeah.
just Ace just playing lead over the track, and it works perfectly.
Yep.
It was, kind of brought down and polished for the studio album version. But again, I was just kind of focusing on the songs as they were here in 73 before. They didn't even meet Bill Aucoin until August.
Wow.
This is before Bill
Whoa,
Aucoin.
that's
this
crazy.
is before record deal. This is literally just Club Kiss.
Yeah.
Again, their 14th show ever, so I was just so amazed at all this stuff. But Deuce sounded pretty good and close to its final form, and so did 100,000 Years. Was very similar. There was an extended middle section and even a fourth verse.
A fourth verse in 100,000 years?
100,000 Years.
Oh, cool.
Which-
3 is already a lot,
which
so that's interesting.
This, I think, that fourth verse, I think, made it to the demo version.
Okay.
They did a demo, and it was on the demo version, but then, of course, by the time you get to the first album, it was gone.
Mm-hmm.
But the fourth verse went something along the lines of, so come on over here now, baby, I'll tell you what I'm gonna do, yeah. Well, we're gonna rock, and we're gonna roll, so baby, won't you let me on through? And it's funny, because Let Me On Through comes back in main line.
I was like, why does
on
that sound
Hotter Than
familiar?
Hell.
Yep.
But hearing this fourth verse, again, if you're not used to it, it just stands out. And it's like, wait a minute, what? It's like hearing alternate universe. You know what I mean? Because like this song, I've heard it my whole life, and they still play it today.
Right.
But that fourth verse is...
But it used to have a different form. That's
been
so
gone
interesting.
for a while. So, again, I just love hearing all that stuff. Black Diamond was also very similar to the final version, we all know. And it kind of made me realize how big of a player Peter was at this point in the game, because we know that Paul Stanley is the front man. He's the hype man.
Yeah.
He's the leader. He's the voice of Kiss, if you will. Well, in 73, those norms hadn't been set yet. So I would almost argue that Peter and Paul were both doing the front man, sort of talking to the crowd.
Yeah.
Taking that role on together.
Interesting. I
Whereas
didn't
we
realize
all know that Paul is the one who just, let me hear you.
Yeah.
But Peter was very much, again, talking to the crowd, saying, thank you, Sid, for having us come out. Everybody joined the mailing list. This is our last show here for a while, so come on back. And then Paul would do his banter. Even Gene did a small amount talking about the mailing list. So everybody but Ace was on the mic.
Interacting with the crowd.
The crowd.
That's
which
neat.
is really, really cool.
Yeah.
Because, again, we all know that Paul is the ringmaster. But Peter was the one that had the most experience as far as being in a live band.
Right.
He had been on the scene locally the most. He had an album out already that nobody else had even music recorded yet. So he was kind of he was the oldest. He was the most experienced. So he had that kind of confidence that maybe Paul didn't have yet.
Right.
So again, it's cool to kind of see that because, and then you have songs like Black Diamond where he's singing, Nothin To Lose where he's singing. And so it just goes to show that Kiss was never a one guy singing band. They were always having Paul and Gene sing lead. Ace was writing songs. Peter was writing and singing songs. So I love the group effort that we have here in the beginning. The last 3 songs that they played were Strutter, Watchin You, and Let Me Know. And Strutter was also extended and had an extra solo at the end. If anybody's heard the demo of Strutter from 73, then you'll know. As a matter of fact, I just found this recently. I knew I still had it. It was just a matter of where. But anyway, I bought this at the first Kiss Expo that Jeff and I went to, and it's a little 3-inch Strutter demo CD.
That's so cool.
So if you open it up,
it's tiny.
It's a tiny little CD.
I think I've seen this before, but I forgot you had that. That's so neat.
Yeah, so I bought it because I think it was like maybe $2, and I had like $2 with me.
Yeah.
And I wasn't walking out with money, so I was like, there's something here for $2.
Absolutely.
I'm gonna find it. But anyway, no, I bought this, and I could not find it for the longest time. Found it recently, so here it is.
That's
but
great.
If you've heard the demo for this already, then you're probably gonna be already familiar with Strutter. But what was funny here was at the end. Before the next song, Paul said, "Hold on, we got a broken string," and I'm not sure if it was him or Ace, or could have been Gene.
Could have been Gene, yeah.
But it was funny because that's just kind of it just happens,
Yeah,
during
does.
live shows. So they had to fix a broken string, And then they referred to Watchin You as their newest composition. They said, check out our newest or our newer composition.
That's super interesting to know.
Which was Watchin You, which we all know is one of the core Kiss songs.
Right. So to hear that they had kind of just written that.
Kind of just written it, yeah. And it was making its way into the set list.
That's neat.
And I wish I knew more about how that song came to be, because whether it was Ace's riff or whose riff it was, that riff is golden. It's the golden riff. Watchin You and Parasite are just, I don't know. I mean, there are certain riffs like Smoke on the Water, Iron Man. You know, there's all these classic
just
riffs. Iconic riffs. But I think that Watchin You and Parasite are just two of the greatest riffs ever written.
Yeah.
And I'm going to go ahead and say that it was Ace, because he's the lead guitarist in Kiss. So Ace, hats off to you, bro. You knocked it out of the park. But it was still crazy hearing Watchin You, because this one I think is the one that was the most realized. This is the one that was most like its final version.
Okay. And they had just written it.
There was no added solos. There was no added lyrics. There was no added verses. No added, not even an added measure. Everything was already the way it was.
So that song just came out perfect.
This song came out perfect. Because again, every other one has like a different solo or an extended section or whatever, but this one was through and through just like you would find on the album or even Kiss Alive, which was pretty cool. And then the last song we leave with is Let Me Know, which is the song that Gene and Paul first kind of wrote together.
Right.
Or I think it was a song that Paul played for Gene first.
Yeah.
And then they kind of put, verses together, verse and chorus together, and you get Let Me Know. And this is the one that did make it onto the first Kiss album. You have Gene and Paul trading back vocals. They include the breakdown in this song. There's a breakdown where it's just drums and vocals. And then you let me know. And then you let me know. That got dropped at some point. It's not on the album version, but it was still being played here. And the one thing that I noticed, though, is that the Kiss coda was not there. Okay. So, on the album version, that's not on here.
Interesting.
At all. On the album, it was put after Let Me Know. And then when they did it live for a while, it was after Watchin You, and then it was after She. Nowadays, it's always after She. That's just the way it's been. But I know in 75, at least in Winterland, it was played after Watchin You. But here, it wasn't there at all. So it makes me wonder where that coda came from.
Yeah.
Where did that classic bum bum where did that come from? It's like, because I love it. I think it's brilliant.
Yeah,
and I wish they would do it today. Because they do a couple of those jams, like at the end of Shock Me. They'll still do that jam today. But that Kiss coda, never gets played unless it's on a Kiss cruise or Rock the Nation tour, whatever. But I love that jam so much. And I just have no idea when it came about. So if any other Kiss fan out there knows, please let me know, because I would... you let me know. You just gotta let me know. Whoa. Yeah. Anyway.
That's my favorite part.
That's my favorite part, too. It's amazing. So that's where this concert ends.
Did they do that part?
No.
Really? I was wondering. Okay.
I don't think so. I think it just kind of ends, and then you let me know. And
okay.
And I could be.
Well, that was a good addition in the studio, because I love that part.
And I could be forgetting. It may do that. But yes, you're right. It's a really cool part that got added in the studio. And it's like, was that a Kiss thing? Was that a Richie and Kenny, producer thing? I don't know. But I thought it was just really cool, nonetheless, to listen to Kiss on June 16th, 73 at the Daisy.
Awesome.
I loved it. And I'm going to go back and listen to it again and again and again. Hopefully I can find more versions of Simple Type and Life in the Woods. But anyway, so there's our little trip to 73. I've been talking for forever. I'm thirsty. Daphne, talk.
All right, my turn. So it's funny because both of our spotlights this week come from things that Glenn sent. So shout out, Glenn. You've given us a lot of content and a lot of really cool stuff. So my spotlight, we just watched this last night. This was also sent to us by our friend Glenn. And it's the Classic Archives Ultimate Edition Lost Diamonds Videos Collection. So basically this is from 74 to 2015. And it has, first of all, it has every Kiss music video that's ever been put out, as far as I know. But also a lot of performance videos and some like TV appearance performance videos.
Oh, yeah.
And just a lot of really, really cool stuff. Some of it, a lot of it I had seen, but a lot of it I hadn't. And most of it you had, but there was a couple things.
Oh, yeah, I was
that,
surprised.
There was a couple things even that you hadn't seen. We spent like our whole night last night watching this, and it was awesome.
Yeah, it was.
It was so fun, just because, you know, these are short videos, so every few minutes we get something new, and we kind of got, like, just a really cool, like, brush-up history lesson, basically.
For real.
Like, we got to watch the evolution in real time, and it was so neat. One of the things that I really liked about the first disc, because this is on, 2 or 3 discs?
3 discs.
3 discs,
Crazy.
there's so much content on here. One of my favorite parts about the first one, like watching the early stuff, was the Paul Lynde Halloween special.
Yeah.
I don't think I had ever seen any of that. Maybe like a small clip. You had talked about it before with the Wicked Witch and all that stuff, but I had never actually got to see it. And I loved every second of it. It was so great.
It was the real Margaret Hamilton.
It was the real Margaret Hamilton from Wizard of Oz. I
Yes.
love Wizard of Oz.
That was...
I'm a huge Wizard of Oz fan. We actually just rewatched it recently.
And we're going to see Wicked.
Yes, and we're going to go see Wicked this fall. I'm actually going to be in a production of Wizard of Oz in the ensemble soon.
Wow. So this is crazy.
Big fans. But so that was really cool to see. And we also just really love Halloween in general. So the set that they were on was so cool.
Oh, yeah.
There was like, just like, you know, lanterns everywhere and spooky
Chandeliers.
decorations.
Shaking.
They were like in a haunted house, kind of. Like, it was just really cool, and it really fit Kiss's vibe, you know what I mean? Like, I'm like, what a cool way for, I'm sure, a lot of people to see Kiss for the first time.
I think it's fair to say that that's the Ed Sullivan of
Kiss.
Of the Kiss fandom.
For
was
sure.
Like, a lot of Kiss fans who are fans from 76 will say, I saw Kiss on a Paul Lynde Halloween special, and that was what made me a Kiss fan for life.
And it was a great intro. If I saw that, I'd be a Kiss fan for life, too. Like,
yes.
It was so, so cool. And so I really enjoyed getting to watch that. All the music videos were great. I think I had seen most of them, but there maybe were a few that I hadn't. But yeah, I don't know. It was just really cool to see the evolution again of them, like watching them go from early days Kiss to more disco stuff.
Oh yeah.
And then
how fast it was too.
Yes, so fast.
Boom, boom, boom.
And then from the makeup to no makeup, and then the insane 80s stuff just out of nowhere. Like,
yeah.
I really enjoyed that. Do you want to look at it?
Yeah, for sure. I just wanted to kind of look at it because, like you said, I mean, there were a few things that I had never seen. So we all know that Kiss was on the Don Kirshner, the special for, let's see, they played, it's right here, let's look, Hard Luck Woman and Love 'Em Leave 'Em.
Mm-hmm.
And they also rehearsed I Want You for those performances, but it was not included on, I think, for example, Kissology Volume 1 or 2. So to see I Want You from the Don Kirshner was fantastic.
That was really cool.
There was even I think it was a performance video of Is That You from Kiss Unmasked that was released that I never saw before. Because it must have been an Australia-only thing or broadcast there, but I was like, oh, it's just probably some mashup of, clips and then they just put whatever. No, it was like the actual show from Sydney put to the music with other stuff in it. And I was like, oh, that's really cool.
Yeah, it was neat.
Because it was like its own music video, but a performance video for Is That You? What about Lick It Up and All Hell's Breaking Loose, where Kiss took off the makeup?
That was interesting.
That was interesting.
Very interesting. I don't understand the concept of those music videos. I mean, I do, but I also don't. It just does not... What I'm seeing visually does not match what I'm hearing, and it just was an interesting choice.
A lot of the 80s videos were definitely over the top. I mean, we got to, like, Who Wants to Be Lonely and All Night, the Asylum videos with Paul's outfit.
Oh, yeah.
I will say this. The one thing I kept saying the whole time was, oh, man, look at Paul's guitar.
Oh, yeah.
Look at Paul's guitar. Every guitar he had in every video
so cool.
was top-notch, whether it was the one that was like a star.
Yes, that's the one I was going to point out, the one that was like a silver actual star. Oh, that was so cool. I love that.
Which was only used, I think, for that tour, Unmasked, which was...
And
awesome guitar.
Well, and it kind of reminds me of, because obviously, even though he's unmasked, the star is reminiscent of the star makeup, but there was also, I can't remember which, I'm sure you'll know, I can't remember which video it was for, but there's one where Gene had even though he's unmasked, has a bass that has his makeup on it.
Oh, it was a song from Crazy Nights album. Yeah,
yes, Crazy Nights, yeah. See, and it's funny because that was another thing I talked about last night is that, like, you guys know, Crazy Nights is one of my absolute favorite albums. I love it so much. But I always think of it as one of the albums in the 80s era where they're in these crazy outfits and dressing very flamboyant and stuff. But as we watched through the videos, I realized they really had toned it down by Crazy Nights, honestly.
Yeah.
In comparison to, like, Asylum.
Oh, yeah.
Asylum
was rough.
was a lot.
It was rough.
And honestly, I do love it. I love it all. And I love the drama and the camp of it all. Like, it's ridiculous, and I understand if you don't like it. Because, like I said, doesn't really match what you're hearing. But I thought it was interesting that by the time we got to the Crazy Nights videos, that the outfits were actually a lot more toned down. Gene looked so much better, because I'm sorry, Paul, he can pull off those crazy outfits most of the time, because he just works it, and he is androgynous and flamboyant, like you said, and he's very confident with it. Whereas Gene and the sparkly outfits and, like, the makeup, it does not suit him.
And still using that demon face.
No, that's what bothers me, is that, like, he would still try and do the
tough boy.
Yeah, the demon character, and be sticking out the tongue and doing crazy eyes and stuff. But it did not match his makeup or his outfits. But by the time we got to Crazy Nights, he actually, even though it was still very glam and 80s, he was back to, like, black leather.
Yeah.
And it was just more, like, tough guy Gene, and it suited him so much better.
And he was doing less of the demon face.
Yeah, because
it was more normal, and
it doesn't work as well without the makeup.
No,
it just doesn't.
It doesn't.
I'm gonna be honest.
It doesn't. But no, it was really cool because there was every single music video on here, and I was kind of wondering how far it was going to go, because once we got to like Psycho Circus, I was like, okay, so Psycho Circus, we're probably going to skip, and I think it went to like of course, Margaret Delilah.
Yeah.
Had the lyric video for Hello Hallelujah. It showed Right Here Right Now, and then I was like, okay, so it's either going to show not the Samurai Son, but the other version,
right?
The Japanese version. Or it's going to end. And it did. It actually included the Japanese version of Samurai Son music video with MCZ. And I thought, perfect, cool, now we're done.
Yep,
and
we were about to take the disc out.
And all of a sudden, Samurai Son comes on, the actual Kiss version. And I'm thinking, there was no video for this made. Well, somebody went and just themselves kind of put together a lyric video for Samurai Son. Which was awesome, because was I not talking to you like while watching the MCC version, the girl version? I was like, this is great, this is cool, but how cool would it have been to also have had a Kiss music video?
Yes.
Because people really do think that version is Samurai Son.
I know, and y'all are sleeping on the real song, because it is so good.
Gosh dang it, we heard
so
Samurai
good.
Son, and I was like, I like this unironically.
Yeah, absolutely.
And again, as a drummer, maybe it's just the drums, but the chorus that Eric is playing, if you just listen to it, man, it fucking goes.
Yeah.
Eric's drums, Tommy's solo, Paul's vocals, man,
Paul's vocals
awesome.
are so cool, and the lyrics are so interesting, because they really went for it with the samurai theme.
Oh yeah,
and it's neat.
Temples of Kyoto, calling my name.
It's so cool.
Blowing my mind like a shot from a gun, and he was like, Wantashi wa Samurai Son. It was so awesome. But whoever did that homemade lyric video, thank you, because it was great. It was a much needed addition. They did a version of the MCZ video, but Kiss Samurai Son did not get a video. It was just Samurai Son.
Yeah.
And so
which is a missed opportunity.
Rubbed a lot of fans the wrong way, because they thought that one was the same.
Yeah.
And so now they have no idea that there's an actual Kiss version, a Kiss song, where Paul is actually singing, and it's actually Kiss. With just the girls on backup vocals.
Right, yeah. And if you were one of the people that's under that impression, it's understandable because of the way it was released. So if you thought that the version with the girls singing is the song, I highly recommend you go check out the actual Kiss Samurai Son.
If you still hate it, fine.
That's fine.
If you still hate it, fine.
I don't think you will, though. If you give it a chance, I don't think you will, because it's a Kiss song.
It does have...
The girls do the backup vocals in the same way that Kiss does the backup vocals on their song. It really is like a mirrored kind of version.
Yeah.
But it's still very rock and roll, and they're very different songs.
Yeah, it's different lyrics. They're not like a transliteration of one another. It's not a translation. It's a different song completely. Right. The other one has a weird name. I don't even want to look it up right now. But anyway, that was a really cool welcome warning.
Yeah.
And just as I thought we were done, Firestarter from Gene Simmons comes on.
That shocked me. I didn't even know that existed.
I was like, they're trolling me. They're trolling me.
Oh my gosh.
Gene Simmons' Firestarter comes on, and I thought, what are we doing here? And Daphne, you had never heard or seen Firestarter in the video.
I didn't know this was a thing. And I kind of wish I still didn't know.
I told her, I said, Gene did a rap video. She goes,
no.
What year? I said, 2004. She goes, oh no.
No.
And when I showed you, and immediately you had girls in crop tops and bikinis
Yeah.
and hydraulic hot rod cars.
yeah.
Like a
He really went for it.
a surefire like rap video. Gene's wearing a white pimp outfit
Oh, it's so
and does like
cringy.
a rapper look. And my favorite part though is when he's doing like the eyes in the back of his head and
That actually was kind of cool.
and the money falling down.
Yeah,
like,
and there
that
were
was pretty
these some of these cool like fisheye lens shots of him doing the crazy eyes and stuff. Like that was kind of cool. But
whoever produced it, but
well, and it's you told me that it's a cover as
cover.
well, and I looked it up, and it is a cover of another rap group from I think the late '90s of their song, and so it's very interesting to hear G rapping. I can't believe I didn't know that, and people don't talk about that more often.
Well, it's for a reason.
But yeah, maybe it's best that we all forget.
I liked that Gene went with a more industrial metal sound with it.
Yeah, the production is very interesting.
It was very, not like rock and roll, but it was very
No, but
like,
it's grungier.
again, industrial metal.
Yeah.
It had like a Nine Inch Nails, Marilyn Manson almost kind of vibe to it, which I thought worked really well. The song itself is really good.
I guess it's more the visuals than anything.
Gene in his wanting to be a rapper was just a very interesting choice.
Yeah.
Now I can laugh at it and look at it and whatever.
I appreciate it for what
I
it
wouldn't
is,
want
but-
anybody else to watch that.
Yeah.
And then after that it was Live to Win from One Live Kiss.
Yes, yeah. We kept thinking that this was over.
Yeah.
And then we get Live to Win from One Live Kiss, Paul Stanley, which has been a spotlight in the past, and we love. So that was really cool to see that. We got one solo Gene thing and one solo Paul thing.
Now was that it? Was that the last thing? I can't think of.
So
I can't think of anything else that would be.
I think so. The back of the DVD gives you a big list, but it doesn't tell you everything. It says "and many more" at the bottom.
Right, and,
so it doesn't
and
actually
two
tell
of
us
the
those
discs
things.
actually have a menu to click on.
Right.
Whereas disc 3 did not have a menu.
Oh, you're right. It didn't.
But nonetheless, I was really impressed with this. This is clearly an unofficial release. I don't even know where Glenn himself got this. I don't know if anybody else has this, but I always wanted to have a DVD with all the music videos on it.
Yeah, this
I was
is
thinking
awesome.
that Kiss should do that themselves, have a DVD of all the music videos.
Mm-hmm.
And it's
so
funny
like
that
an
I was,
official one.
yeah, and it's kind of funny that I would think that because then here we go, Glenn sends this to me, and it has that and more.
Yeah.
Actually, it says I on there, and I was thinking there was going to be the video for I, and it wasn't. It was something else.
And it had the intro. It even said "I," but
It had the hand on the door, and it opened up, and you saw the elder council
but
table.
then it just cut to something else.
And then it cut to just a bunch of Kiss clips. So
Yeah.
I was thinking it was going to be the long lost video for I, but it wasn't. It was something different. But
I really enjoyed, like I said, a lot of these music videos I have seen before, but it's just been a long time. So I really enjoyed watching the Hide Your Heart music video. Because you guys probably have heard me say before, that's one of my favorite Kiss songs, and it's growing on my list.
one of the best
for sure,
videos too.
I love a good storytelling song. And Kiss only has a handful of those, which I understand. It's never really been their niche, but when they do it so well. And that song is just a songwriting masterpiece, in my opinion. And the music video was executed really well.
It's the most non-Kiss thing, but it makes the most Kiss thing.
Yeah, and
it's the most.
And that video could have easily been super cheesy. Some of these other videos, even though I love them, if there's a somewhat of a story or actors in it, it's a little silly.
Yeah. This one.
But this one was done really well, and I really enjoyed. And there was a good balance of watching the story and then also seeing Kiss as well.
Mm-hmm. Whoever directed did a really good job.
Yeah, I really liked
because
that.
there were parts of it that were in black and white and grainy, and then you had Kiss in color on top of the building playing.
Yeah, which was very Beatles
very
rooftop.
Beatles rooftop. Yeah, for sure. So I loved that.
Rise to It is also a fantastic music video and a fantastic song.
That might be one of the best music videos I've ever seen.
Yeah,
just
absolutely.
because of the hype and energy, and then that is one of the best songs. Period. And a couple of these were being were ripped from Extreme Close Up.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
There was a few
things
that were taken from Kissology Volume 1, like the Kiss Alive promo videos, clearly from Kissology Volume 1, but then Rise to It, or at least Hide Your Heart, I know, was taken from Kiss Extreme Close Up. So that was really cool. I loved seeing this DVD. It was fantastic.
and it's just a cool resource to have. Like you said, you had been wishing that there was something like that.
For real.
Because we have the internet, but not all of these music videos are available.
No.
Not all of them are on YouTube or easy to find in good quality at all. And most of this stuff was really decent video quality for the most part.
Crazy Nights was just put on YouTube this year. Remember that?
Yes, I remember when you told me that. I was so excited.
That video had never been on YouTube. And I was like, oh my gosh, finally, here we go. And I was like, it's been so long since I've seen it. But now I have a DVD copy.
Yeah,
so.
now you don't have to worry about that if they ever do get taken down, or if there's ones that you can't find. We got it.
Absolutely.
Thank you again, Glenn. You rock.
And then the last Kiss Spotlight we have here is over here to the... Oh, you got it over there, actually. It's Wendy Williams' album.
Yeah.
So this
also
album...
Also from Glenn, right?
Also from Glenn, yes. And I had never heard this album in its entirety. And I now have a greater appreciation for it because this is more linked to Kiss 3 than I thought. Mm-hmm. So I already knew that Gene Simmons had produced this. So there was a band called Plasmatics. Wendy Williams was the lead singer. And then John Beauvoir, who you might know as he played bass on Animalize and also I think helped co-write some stuff. Yes. We met at the Kiss Expo in 2019. He has the mohawk.
Right, the blonde,
Blonde mohawk, yeah. So he was in Plasmatics as well. And then when they disbanded or was on hiatus, Gene approached Wendy Williams and said, hey, I'll produce your next album for you. And that's what came out here. So, and she was actually got a Grammy nomination for this.
Really? That I did not know.
For, I think, Best Female Vocalist or whatever it was.
Cool, that's awesome.
Which is pretty cool because I had no idea. But if I had one way to describe Wendy Williams, I would say that her music is like Joan Jett on steroids.
Okay.
Like, this is like if Joan Jett lived the real lifestyle that she, like the real street tough. Yeah. Wendy was a tough girl.
Yeah.
She was very tough. So, okay, for instance, Joan Jett, I love rock and roll.
Yeah.
This song's called I Love Sex and Rock and Roll.
Okay. It's just a more hardcore version.
Just a little more hardcore version. Yeah.
That's so funny.
If Joan Jett's hard rock, then this is heavy metal.
Yeah.
It's My Life, which is track number 2.
Yeah.
Which that was recorded and demoed for Creatures of the Night, but was not included. Oh. And then was used here on Wendy's album.
I didn't know that.
And then Kiss re-recorded it for Psycho Circus, and it also was left off. So here is an official released version of the song It's My Life that was actually fully realized, which is really awesome because it's one of my favorite Kiss demos.
Yeah.
And I had never heard the Wendy Williams version, and I think hers is just as good as Kiss's version. I mean, this album is, like I said, it's Joan Jett on steroids. It's freaking heavy metal. It's in your face. Somebody left us a comment on that last video and said that this and Creatures were like sister albums because of how close they sound.
Interesting.
And it's true. It's true. I mean, you listen to Kiss, Creatures of the Night, and this album, and they're almost produced the same way. This came out in '84 originally. This is a re-release in 2000, but the album came out in '84 originally. Creatures '82, so they're very, very close in time. But what really got me was Thief in the Night. There's a Kiss song, like a thief in the night. This is the exact same song.
Really?
But sung by Wendy.
What?
Years before Crazy Nights.
It's the same song?
The exact same song.
Same lyrics and everything?
Same song, same lyrics, same songwriters, but Wendy is singing it. And it sounds just as good as the Kiss version.
That is crazy.
In fact, it's almost like two different versions because even though it is the exact same structure, the exact same... The only thing different is Bruce's guitar. Bruce's riffs are different. Bruce's solo is different. I mean, listening to those two versions, you kind of get an understanding of why Bruce is Bruce and what makes Bruce Bruce. Because his guitar is so tasty and adds so much. But just the lyrics and the music and structure itself was the exact same. But obviously Gene in Crazy Nights was doing less of a demon and more of a, hell or high water, whereas Wendy Williams, was very much just a loud, aggressive, in your face,
hear that. That's awesome.
Heavy metal. So I never knew that Thief in the Night was recorded by her.
Yeah, or was written that early.
It was written that early and recorded by her. And now again, most fans like, duh, Xander, what are you doing? Live under a rock?
We don't know everything.
I'm living under a rock, and I'm learning all kinds of stuff. So, Bump and Grind is on here.
Okay.
I have a story. I won't get too deep into it because it's about a client, but I will tell a story that I think is super funny.
Okay.
It all makes sense now. So I was designing a logo for a client, a band, and they said, hey, thank you for doing our logo. We're going to send over just a couple tracks that we're working on in the studio. They're not mastered or mixed. They're just for you to listen to, just for your own pleasure. Thank you for helping out. Mm-hmm. Here's a couple tracks. Unmixed from our studio session. I was like, cool, thank you, that's fun to hear. And one of them was Bump and Grind. And I thought, what is that? There's a song called Bump and Grind. Keep in mind, I had no idea that it came from here originally.
Did you think it was an original?
I thought it was an original.
Okay.
So I'm like, this is 20, whatever. We're in the 2010s. And there's a song called Bump and Grind coming out. I was like, I don't like this song.
Yeah.
It is garbage. And then I read this track listing and thought, Bump and Grind, I wonder if it's the same
You're like, no way.
Bump and Grind. It is.
Wow.
So I guess the song came from here first, and then the band that I was working with just did a cover of it. Which makes a lot more sense.
Yeah,
and I feel
that checks out more.
less animosity for it. I was like, Bump and Grind. I was like,
hilarious.
I've heard some dumb stuff from Kiss.
Right.
But let's do the bump. Do you want to bump? Do you want to grind? Do
so
you
silly.
want to bump and grind with me? And I'm like, no, I don't. But no, Wendy's version I think is a lot better. I mean, it makes more sense knowing that she was the original one. It fits in with her, kind of vibe, I guess, if you will. And then you have Legends Never Die, which I'm pretty sure Gene has done that version. I can hear Gene in my head singing the song
familiar.
Legends Never Die, but I can't think of where it came from on top of my head. So I'm probably missing something. But last track, Ain't None of Your Business, was co-written by Eric Carr.
Oh, really? Wow.
In fact, we have a lot of Kiss members on here. So, of course, we have Gene Simmons as producer. Mm-hmm. You have Ace Frehley as special guest. You have Paul Stanley making a special appearance. And Eric Carr making an appearance on this album, too.
It looks like Legends Never Die is on the vault.
The box set.
Yeah, and also in the Gene Simmons vault.
Oh, Gene Simmons' vault. Okay,
I think that's,
so maybe it was on the vault. Okay.
Yeah, I don't know why it has the Creatures thing there, but this says album Gene Simmons
For sure.
vault.
Okay, so it was on Gene Simmons' vault, possibly on the box set for Creatures.
Interesting.
Okay, makes sense.
Okay.
For sure.
Sorry, didn't mean to interrupt.
No,
Just wanted to know.
Thank you. So it started there, and I guess was fully realized here.
Yeah.
But you have Gene, Paul, Eric, Ace, and Vinnie Vincent all in this song. Vinnie Vincent.
That's fascinating.
Let's see, which one did Vinnie Vincent co-write? I forget which one Vinnie co-wrote, but I know you have Eric Carr playing drums on Legends Never Die. Eric Carr co-wrote Ain't None of Your Business. Paul plays guitar on Ready to Rock.
Nice.
Gene produced the whole album, so it's like a Kiss album in disguise right here.
That is great.
Which is crazy, because I know that Kiss fans have said, it's very historical, it's very linked, but I didn't realize it had that many people on it,
Like
and it
how
had
much?
Thief in the Night, It's My Life, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is crazy.
Yeah, this album literally would not exist in any form without Kiss. That's
And
fascinating.
it was nominated for a Grammy, so
that's great.
that was really cool. But like I said, I wanted to do a whole episode on Kiss Spotlights because we've been, and I think in the next episode we may also talk about some more current events and things like that. But I wanted to do a full episode just talking about Kiss's music.
Because we got so much new stuff to talk about.
So much new stuff to talk about. I was learning so much about Kiss in '73. You watched a bunch of new Kiss videos for the first time. I heard Wendy O. Williams' album for the first time. So this is just a lot of firsts for us. And anybody out there watching and listening still at the end of the episode, I want to thank you, and I appreciate you. Please like and subscribe. And then also in the comments, of course, leave us your Kiss Spotlights, what you've been watching, listening to, and jamming to. It was kind of cool that... What's up?
I did want to say before we forget, as we are filming this today, it is Gene Simmons' birthday. So happy late as it goes up, but happy birthday, Gene.
Happy 74th birthday.
Make sure we didn't forget.
Yeah, absolutely. Happy birthday, Gene. I did a post on Instagram, too, so you have to follow us on Instagram for more Kiss content. I thought it was really cool that Landon spotlit Kiss Scooby-Doo.
Yep.
And then we did the Kiss video collection. We usually just do albums and CDs and vinyl and things like that. But no, we do include Kiss media or Kiss movies
any Kiss
and videos
media.
in the Kiss Spotlight because they're as much visual as they are audio.
Absolutely.
But either way, it was fun to just kind of sit back and talk about Kiss in '73. We had two of Kiss's newest Kiss Army recruits with us. Thank you so much, David and Landon, for joining us. And then we will see you guys on episode 63 of the Kiss Army Things podcast. Until then, rock on. We will see you later. Peace out. My name is Xander.
My name is Daphne.
See you guys.